This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Hey, what's going on? I must have started slouching in my seat. I don't know. Camera changed on me there. Yep, we got a lot of stuff to go over here tonight. I'm gonna go back over the Markham case. I think we did it in December. But it's weird how we've covered so many cases. Sometimes some cases stick with you, and some don't. I remember it mainly because of this guy that found her. I remember that interview with him and various things. So I'll go through those, the articles as well again. So, there you go. And then there's some updates here on other cases as well. Yeah. And if you know about the case, just don't talk. You know, let me get through it again for the people that haven't heard of it. Okay? I mean, I know we get that a lot in here where people go, ooh, just because they're close to it or something, they want to throw out all this stuff, and it's just like, let people go over it. Okay? Now, before we do that, though, we're going to do let's see. Thank you, Teresa Murray. Yeah. So remember the case the other day with the, let's see, his name is Nathan Millard. Texas EquiSearch showed up. I think it was in Louisiana, and then he went out and he got drunk. And so here's a timeline so that we all know exactly what happened here. All right, here we go. And let me just get it on that one. Yeah, Nathan Millard, right here. He was at a bar next to his house. I mean, not his house, next to his hotel that he was staying at. So he was at Happy's Pub at 11:30. All he had to do was walk back to the courtyard here. But then they found his phone there, and there's a Greyhound station here where, well, let's just go through it. Here we go. So Millard leaves from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport and flies to Baton Rouge to check out a possible job site for his Conyers construction business. Then at 7:30 p.m., Millard FaceTimes with his wife from the LSU basketball game. At 9:30 p.m., he has dinner with a client at Happy's Pub at around 9:30 p.m. At 11:17, Millard is last seen leaving Happy Irish Pub on 3rd Street in downtown Baton Rouge. A worker cut him off because he had too much to drink. At 11:30, Millard arrives at a Greyhound bus station on Florida Street, which is less than a mile from the pub. He's with another man, according to warrants. He uses an ATM to withdraw cash. A security spots him and asks Millard if he needs help. Millard refuses help, but tells the employees that he lost his cell phone. The employee offers to call a rideshare for him to take him back to his hotel room, but Millard refuses. Millard tells the employees he's looking for something to make him feel better. So he literally, he's at the machine to buy cash to buy something to make him feel better, which is drugs, right? He walks away from the bus station with the unidentified man. Police say the man Millard was with introduces him to some people who flagged down a known drug dealer in the area named Stanka. Police have since identified Stanka as Derek Perkins, who was later arrested for improperly disposing of Millard's body, among other crimes. Millard, Perkins, and another person get into a light blue Toyota Camry and head in the direction of South Baton Rouge. Then at 4:24, Millard is last seen alive, so he was still alive at 4:24 in the morning. He was last seen alive on surveillance video at a Circle K on Nicholson Drive, where he and Perkins make a pit stop and strand two people who were with them at the store. I'm not sure what you mean, like they left them there? At some point, shortly thereafter, witnesses told police that Millard died of an overdose at a home on East Washington Street. Perkins then allegedly wrapped his body in plastic wrapping and a rug before disposing of the body several days later in Ontario Street behind a funeral home. At 9 a.m. in the morning, Millard's client calls police to request a welfare check after he doesn't show up for a meeting. At some point during the day, Millard's wallet and phone are found on the ground several blocks from his hotel. At 11 a.m., Perkins uses Millard's ATM card at an AM Mart on Highland Road, according to the warrant. So, I think they need to keep looking into that a little bit more. Thanks, Danielle. I feel, like he was a recovering addict of some sort, and it just sucks. I think he was an alcoholic. So he just nobody was there to keep him from doing strange things. So he goes out and wants to feel better and take more drugs or take drugs. I don't know if he was really a drug doer, but he was just so drunk he was doing whatever he felt like doing. And then he ends up dying. And what a horrible way. Just a nightmare. Just, in the middle of nowhere, or, someplace you're not familiar with. Now the family has to deal with that. And it's just, what a night hole. What a shithole that is. Yeah, probably were wondering what to do with it. But there might be more to the case. I guess we'll have to find out. But, law enforcement seemed to say that there was nothing wrong with him physically, or his body. There was no signs of trauma. So you could just definitely see it being something like, one of those, meth overdoses or whatever. Or that's not the one. What's that new drug? Let's see. Fentanyl. Yeah, maybe it's like a fentanyl. Yeah, that's terrible. Surveillance video shows that the blue, and then at March 5th at 12:50 a.m., surveillance shows the blue Toyota Camry traveling down Ontario Street near where Millard's body is later found. At 3:30 a.m. on the 6th of March, Millard's body is found wrapped up in a plastic and in a carpet in a vacant lot in Scenic Highway. March 7th, 4 p.m., police release autopsy reports finding that there was no internal or external trauma to Millard's body. There is no indication of foul play. March 9th, detectives obtained phone records from Perkins, which links him to the Circle K where Millard was last seen alive, as well as the location where Millard's body was found. Police put out a bolo for Perkins, who they say needed, this is on the 11th, say they needed for questioning in Millard's case. He also wanted for probation violations. March 13th, 5:15, Baton Rouge police are notified about a vehicle fire. Investigators responded to the scene, determined it was a light blue Toyota Camry, probably trying to burn out the DNA. See, that's a little weird. If you're really just dumping a body, is that something, would you go to that extreme? I don't know. The location of the fire is approximately 1 block east of where Millard's body was located. Police execute a vehicle search warrant on the Camry. A canine cadaver dog gives a positive alert to the smell of human decomposition in the trunk. At 1:30 p.m., a search warrant is executed at Perkins' house, which is the same home on Washington Street where witness said Millard died. Police find a roll of plastic sheeting, and that appeared to be consistent with the plastic used to wrap up Millard's body. Perkins is arrested and later charged with unlawful disposal of remains, criminal damage to property, obstruction of justice, and failure to seek assistance. All felony crimes. Well, there you go. That's the wrap-up of that tragedy. Maybe there'll be an update later, and the circumstances change, but the fact that there's no trauma on his body kind of means that makes sense. All right, and I'll just do my normal thing. If you guys would like to help support the channel here, every single night I try to raise funds to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing, and I also have committed from the income from the channel that I donate over 50% of the net revenue to various charities out there. And I do have my meeting set up now with the RAIN person, so maybe I can record it and we can learn a little bit more about what they do over there. I actually would like to do that with all of them. I get Texas EquiSearch, RAIN, and NCMEC, and have somebody come on and talk about it. Yep. Thank you, Jiggy England. Already been on here for 18 minutes? Wow. I think he probably overdosed. They might have given him an overdose on purpose, though. I mean, we don't know that part. But that would take a witness. The police won't be able to prove anything else unless a witness says something. Hey, thank you. Quietly Frozen. The coolest name in YouTube history. And Taco Queen. And also to Jiggy England. All right. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. All right, we got another update too. Ada just sent me this right before. Let me get the... Where the hell is it? Oh yeah, on the case we were talking about last night, the Jim Craig, the Dennis Wacko. So here's the Jim Craig, the Dennis Wacko.
I'll beat you back if you want me to.
We've got this exclusive mistress at the center of the Colorado Dennis murder case who flew to Jim Craig's side as his wife lay dying in the hospital from his poisoned protein shakes is revealed as Texas orthodontist 49 who is divorcing her husband. So she's divorcing her husband. I wonder if James said the same thing, but he knew he couldn't really do that because he didn't want to pay the child support or anything like that. So he killed her instead. I mean, didn't she get a little bit suspicious, this 49-year-old orthodontist? Thank you, Tawny Lee and Simple Life Days. Wasn't she just a little bit intrigued when the spouse of somebody you're cheating on and you know you're cheating dies of some mysterious thing? Hey, there's Lillian again. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, no, there's got to be something. The mistress, who has found herself at the center of Colorado dentist murder case, can be identified for the first time by Daily Mail. And remember, we already knew her name was Karen. So it says she is the orthodontist Karen Kane, 49, who is currently in the middle of a divorce from her husband, Jason. Well, now she's probably going, did I say divorce? I mean, I said I want to force something. Because now she's not going to want to be with
Chewbacca?
Jim at this point, right?
You want me to?
Ray, 2 hearts.
Right. Come on, don't you think that's what he's doing? Yeah. She is an orthodox Karen Kane, 49, who is currently in the middle of a divorce from her husband. On Wednesday, we caught up with Kane as she left her office in Marble Falls, Texas, in her medical scrubs and purple sneakers for a lunch break. She was still wearing a wedding band on her ring finger, just like I told you guys. She's, pretending she didn't say that. Thank you, Admiram. Currently going through a divorce from her husband, Jason, with a ring on her finger. So this 49-year-old thought this guy was an upgrade, I guess. And I think she's way prettier than this lady. I mean, my God. It's like, well, let Zozo fill you in with. I mean, she looks cute down here, this lady. I don't know what's going on here. This is weird. It's not all about looks, Gray. It's about personality. All right. Okay, she was still wearing her wedding band on her ring. There he is, the wacko. She did not respond to questions about her alleged affair with porn-addicted dentist James Craig, who has been charged with poisoning his wife. Oh, man. Yeah, I think he did it to not have to pay... well, he wanted out of the marriage, obviously, because he wanted to kill her, but he didn't want to have to pay child support. Because he has... I think it's... doesn't he have 6 kids or something? Can't remember. He's got a whole bunch. Yeah, 6 kids, I think. I can see it in the picture there. Alright, she did not respond to questions about her alleged affair with porn-addicted dentist James Craig, who has been charged with poisoning his wife. Instead, she called police on a DailyMail.com photographer. Instead, she called police. I don't know. They probably meant to put more words. Cell phone or something. The cops agreed he was just doing his job and told him that Kane had told... what in the hell is this saying here? Instead, she called police on a DailyMail.com... oh, she called police about the photographer. Wow, that was just not making sense. The cops agreed he was just doing his job and told him... so she got pissed off that the photographer was there. Okay, so it's, the cops agreed he was just doing his job and told him that Kane had told them she knew the media was looking for her because of her relationship with Craig. Craig, 45, from Aurora, Colorado, was being held on suspicion of murder. Now, it's not suspicion of, he killed her. Angela, 43, first started feeling sick on March 6th. Yep, we already went through all this last night. I mean, we went through the entire 50-something page. In the email to her alleged lover, she wrote, "Hi, honey. I'm so sorry for what has transpired this week in your world. I am sorry I am not part of your world to be of more help." You mean you wish you could be there to help support the wife that you want out of the picture anyways, so that you can be with him? Yeah. Now it really does have sort of a Chris Watts vibe a little bit, right? Like you have the other woman situation. He kills her as his out. You know, he's not going to kill the whole family, obviously, but yeah, they're old enough where they're adults, so he didn't have that option, right? Yeah. This is so hard, she continued. I want to be and do whatever I can to support and encourage you, and I don't want to add to what has become an incredibly difficult time. Thank you, Tosh and Alley Cake. I can't imagine what it is doing to you to walk your kids through this. I do want to give you any comfort I can, but I do not feel it is right for me to mix in with all those gathering to mourn. See, what's weird, here's the thing, is the way she's talking is, I think, that he told her that they were separated. Something like that. Okay? Because the way she's talking, it's almost like she feels like she could go, but it doesn't feel like it's right to interfere with, that's what it feels like here. Like, he probably said that, and that wouldn't shock me a bit, right? Like, he says, yeah, we're separated, but he knows he can't separate her because then he'll be on the hook for child support. So he's going to kill it. It's also a little bit like Peterson, right? Scott Peterson here. Yeah, I can't imagine what it's doing to your walk your kids through this. Now, thank you. Quietly frozen again. I do want to give you any comfort I can, but I do not feel it is right for me to mix in with all those gathering to mourn Angela. See, in her mind, it feels like she thinks they're divorced or separated at this point. So, like, she could go, but it's just not right to be there. Instead, they were just completely still married. I'm praying for you and seeking God's wisdom for this time. She signed off with the words, I love you. Yeah. So this is Karen Kane with husband Jason. That's her husband. Daughter Karen, Carson 21, and Cooper. Olson, who prepared the papers, told DailyMail.com she had passed them on the district attorney without blacking out names, and that office was responsible for any redactions. Thank you, Jennifer Ladybugs. According to Kane's online biography, she has lived in Marble Falls since 2004 and has 2 adult children. She says on her website that she is only orthodontic specialist in. She is the only orthodontic specialist in Burnett and Llano counties.
Thank you for covering this interesting case and all you do great.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Despite her relationship with Craig, she seems to have a low opinion of general dentists, as she stresses why patients should use orthodontic specialists. Unfortunately, many general dentists who cares what she says about that. But there's that same letter. Yeah, so that's their family. You know, like all these people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man. It just sort of devastated the lives of all these people. I mean, completely, not sort of. Yeah, they're just going to go through all the rest of it is the same stuff that we went through yesterday. So if you're here today and you didn't watch yesterday's show, we read through the entire Probable cause, or maybe it was the arrest warrant. I can't remember which one. But it was 52 pages long. And even the night before we went over it too. So it's it's pretty, I think it's pretty interesting and probably worthwhile to listen to. Yeah. I mean, these are some of the, we read literally, or I did, about 150 of these things right here. You know? Well, let's see, is he talking right there?
If you have a utility meter like this on the side of your house, you can get paid to go solar.
My name is Dr. Jim Craig, and I practice at Summerbrook Dental Group. I went to dental school at the University of Missouri at Kansas City from 2002 to 2006. I also taught dental classes at that same university for 3 years.
Wow.
And
you know,
immediately
I like this
afterward,
guy now.
I came out to this practice, and I've been practicing here since 2006. My approach to dentistry begins with sincerely listening to the patient and wanting to find out more about where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I'm really discreet when I order things like potassium cyanide. I'll actually use a different room at my practice so it doesn't affect any of the clients here. And I'll make a fake email, and I'll use that only in that room too, and we'll order potassium cyanide. Now, it won't affect any of the rest of our patients. That's for damn sure, because I make sure that it's separate.
From and what they're looking for and what they want.
Oh, I mean.
I also have a very strong philosophy that a happy team makes happy patients.
Oh yeah,
and
they're
we have
happy
such
already.
a wonderful team here at Summerbrook. There's really no weak links. And
Listen to this guy.
I love hearing patients talk to me about how the positive interactions with my staff have affected their comfort level at the office.
Oh,
That's
God.
one of the hallmarks of Summerbrook.
God.
Is that we try to be happy here.
Look at this
Patients talk to me
bullshit
about
right here.
how the
Hi, Jim. Right? Well, his name
here at
is Jim.
Summerbrook, there's really no weak links. And I
We are
love hearing patients talk to me
fantastic.
about
Hey, very good to
how
see
the
you,
positive
man.
interactions with my staff have affected their comfort level.
Oh,
at
hey,
the
bye
office.
now,
That's one
bye
of the
now. Let me go
hallmarks.
get my package of potassium cyanide out of the room after you leave, sir. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's about it there. What an absolute pile of crap that guy is. God, man. Unreal. All right, now we're going to move on to the Katelyn Markham case. This will be reading again because I want to go back over it again because I've pretty much forgotten, weirdly, in a 3.5 month period, the entire thing except for this one guy that I remember, he's the one that found the body. And you'll remember her face right away. And I know that she was found a distance, I think in Indiana, compared to where she was disappeared from. She had a fiance at the time, who I think at the time we pretty much.
This will be my.
Yeah, God. At the time, I'm pretty sure that we were suspicious of him, like everybody else. Right? So here we go. This is back in. You remember that? That's her face right there. Kind of small there, but this is from August 16th, 2011. The Fairfield Police Department is asking for the community's help in locating missing 22-year-old woman. Katelyn Markham's family filed a report Sunday after she didn't report for work at David's Bridal in Trimount County Mall. So let me get to this one. There. I've got all of it's mapped out already because I've done it. Well, wow, thanks, Tosh. Oh, we get to hear the rap, too. That's a hard one.
Reading plus
Thank you. Okay, so she didn't report to work at the bridal mall. It's at this Tri-County Mall, it's a bridal shop. David's Bridal Shop. It was in here somewhere, like inside the building. We just put a pin there at one point. Didn't answer calls and text messages from her fiance, John Carter. Carter's mother, Karen Winkler. So John Carter's, John Carter's mother, Karen Winkler, said the family is bewildered at the disappearance of Markham. The townhouse she lived in off Dorshire Drive in Fairfield was completely untouched, Winkler said. It's just as if she got up and walked away, she said. This is always really bad right here. Markham's purse, keys, and car are still at the townhouse. I mean, every time you hear that, then you almost immediately know that somebody disappeared from that location. Because how did the car and her purse and everything come home unless randomly somebody picked her up or something? But why wouldn't she take all that with her when somebody else picked her up? See, those are the things. The purse, the key, her car. Okay, sure, somebody else picked her up, but she's going to take her purse and probably her keys so she can get back in the house. The couple has been together for 6 years after Markham finished school at the Art Institute of Cincinnati this September. They were planning on moving to Colorado. Obviously, right? I mean, what crime isn't in Colorado? They were planning to marry in 2 years after Carter turned 25, Winkler said. They were both just really excited about it, she said. As the family prays for Markham's safe return, Fairfield police have said there is no evidence of foul play, and a reasonable explanation for her disappearance hasn't been found. Police aren't releasing any further information. There's no sign that anything happened in the apartment, Winkler said. The only thing out of place was her small mixed-breed dog, which was locked in her bedroom. She has never gone anywhere without people knowing where she is, she said. This is just so out of character. Police said Winkler, the cell phone, was turned off at around 12:45 a.m. Sunday, but so far it has not been located. The GPS device on the phone has also been turned off. See all those things, man. We just want her home. We have no clue what happened to her. So that was back in 2011. Then, just the next day in the paper, more than 100 people search. Katelyn Markham was supposed to be blowing out birthday candles Tuesday to celebrate her 22nd birthday. Instead, so she was really only 21 when she went missing. Instead, family and friends spent hours looking for any sign of her whereabouts after she was last seen Saturday. More than 100 people joined police and fire crews. Police and families say they have no idea what could have happened to her. Her fiancé, John Carter, said he last saw Markham around 11 or 11:30 Saturday night at her townhouse. Right, so he's admitting that he was there, right? At 12:52 a.m. Sunday, he received a picture of Markham on his cell phone, sent via a text message. Something really easy to do, right? That was the last time anyone has heard from her. The next morning, Carter said he sent his fiancée a good morning text message. When she didn't respond, he assumed she was running late for her shift at David's Bridal in Tri-County Mall. I kept texting her, and there was no response, he said. Concerned for her well-being, he asked to leave work to check on her. Finding her car in the townhouse parking lot, he said he was immediately worried, knowing she would never skip work and ignore text messages. This is C2. It continues, so this is probably it right here, yeah. But inside, Carter, along with the rest of Markham's family, friends, and police, would only find more questions. Her small mixed-breed dog, Murphy. Isn't that the name of the dog in the Idaho 4 case? Murphy? Man, what are the odds of that shit? Another dog locked in a room. With the rest of Markham's family. I was almost going to mention the Idaho 4 case a minute ago, with just having the dog locked in the room. And then we get to the part where the dog has the same freaking name, for God's sakes. Wow. I almost brought it up, literally, just a minute ago, going, hey, isn't that weird? Another dog locked in a room. Man, that's almost kind of trippy. I mean, how many dogs are named Murphy? You know, that's sort of... Gray, a lot of dogs. I know about 6 of them. As a matter of fact, I got one. Markham's purse, keys, and cars were all there. The only thing missing were Markham and her cell phone, which Carter's mother, Karen Winkler, said was turned off at around 12:45. Oh, well, that's interesting. So right after the message is sent to Karen Winkler's son, it goes, her phone turns off. Wow, that's not suspicious at all. Markham's family and friends describe her as a courageous, responsible, and nice girl. Okay, let me just move on. And this is police release a 911 call reporting Katelyn Markham's disappearance. I think at one point we heard it, but I couldn't find that right away, so I'll just read what it said on there. Markham's fiance, John Carter, you know, the one that got the last image sent to his phone at 12:45, and then immediately your phone goes off, because he didn't think through it. He was like, ooh, I gotta set up the alibi. Okay, I'll send myself a text message. Okay, now turn it off. You know, he just does it really quick, right? I know you're not supposed to report a missing person before 24 hours, but my fiancé, I think this is how it starts. I know you're not supposed to report a missing person before 24 hours, but my fiancé is missing, and I can't find her anywhere, he said. We were planning on going in October, and then we pushed back the date. I remember this now. I remember thinking, reading this, going, yeah, that means you're having problems. Yeah, he said. We could have pushed the date back a year, and it would not have mattered. I didn't want to make her do anything she didn't want to do. You remember that one? Meaning, she didn't want to really be in the relationship anymore. That's what we came up with anyways. At least if I'm remembering right, I remember this stuff here. And she did not feel like she was being forced into anything. When asked what he meant by forced, Carter said, just going to Colorado, the marriage, the whole thing. It was entirely up to her. No, it wasn't. See, that's the thing. You know, if she said no, then you were going to kill her. If she said yes, then oh yeah, everything's fine. So she didn't really have a choice. Carter also said in the 911 call, a Sacred Heart festival is going on right up the street, and there's a lot of questionable people there. Oh yeah, setting up the alibi. Man, how many times have we heard this stuff? That's just like Alec Murdoch, for God's sakes. You know, oh yeah, oh gosh, there's these other people that have been threatening him. And so here we go. When asked what he meant by forced, okay, Carter also said in the 911 call, a Sacred Heart festival is going on right up the street, and there's a lot of questionable people there. Carter explained that statement to Fox 19, saying, I don't think it draws shady, sketchy people, but there were so many people there, you don't know anybody's intentions. Right. Let's see. So her home is, so that bridal shop, she worked there, and then this is the home she lived in. I think he came over to her house, probably strangled her to death, and took her out of there. That's why, you know, that's what it seems most likely. So one of these little residents right here. Woman still missing after week-long search. Yeah, so her purse, keys, and car were all right where they belonged. So that means she was at home and put things as if you're settling in for the night. A text from her phone was sent to her fiancé, John Carter. Well, guess who sent that message? Right? While the community is puzzled as to how seemingly happy girl could simply disappear, her family and friends are working to stay positive. Worst case scenario is possible. As more time passes since Katelyn, this is like 2 weeks later, more time passes since Katelyn Markham was last seen, authorities say they are preparing for the worst case scenario. We hope for the best, but we're preparing for the worst, said Fairfield Police Chief Mike Dickey. Clearly, on this spectrum, it's possible we're going to end up with a worst case scenario here. Are we headed in that direction? I think we have to think about it that way. Dickey said there is still no evidence of foul play, but it is clear the longer this goes on without locating her in any condition, it doesn't help the situation. Markham was last seen by her fiancé, John Carter, on August 13th, and was reported missing by her father, David Markham, August 14th. Markham's car keys and purse were still at the apartment. 3 days after she was reported missing, police secured her townhouse. When asked if Carter was a person of interest in the disappearance, Dickey said, as far as we're concerned, anyone who has had contact with her is a person of interest, and we're going to continue to operate in that vein. A $3,000 reward is being offered for information regarding Markham's disappearance. Dickey said police have not received any tips or leads that have helped in the investigation. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next one. Oh, by the way, I just sent out 4 notebooks again today, so whoever had ordered them recently, I sent them out. And right here we got I think there's about 20 something left, so if you don't have one of your notebooks, just send 25 to the PayPal. We'll send off the notebook, and by we, meaning me, I'll send it off with the freak pens in it, okay? So there you go. But I did send out now if you're somebody that was supposed to get one, let me know, and then tell me when you won or something. Because every once in a while, somebody doesn't send me the email when they win, or they sent an email and I didn't see it, etc., etc., etc. Oh, you got yours finally, Jeff? All right. There you go. You already had one, though, didn't you? All right. After 20 months, Katelyn Markham is found dead. So she was actually found in 2013. During the past 20 months, any time an unidentified body surfaced in Ohio, Indiana, or Kentucky, Fairfield investigators probed whether the remains were Katelyn Markham. But the investigation shifts into new territory, Dickey said, now that Indiana State Police have verified the remains found along a Franklin County creek belonged to the 21-year-old woman who vanished in August of 2011. The discovery of Markham's remains might help investigators figure out what happened to her, he said, adding, while leads have diminished, we have not given up the hunt. Late Wednesday afternoon, Dickey said Indiana authorities notified his office that dental record comparisons had revealed that the remains were Markham's. Then Fairfield officers delivered the bad news to Markham's relatives, he said. Dickey wouldn't say anything further about the condition of her remains or whether they revealed any clues. Markham's family couldn't immediately be reached, but supporters of Katelyn Markham and her family shared their thoughts and feelings via Missing Bring Katelyn Markham Home, a Facebook page. I'm not sure what's going on. Hold on a second. I'll just turn it off. You know, I hate when you're in these group texts with people, like, and then they just keep conversing back and forth, and every 2 minutes, like, ding, 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 ding. It's like, oh, give me a break. So right up here it says, Carter called 911 at 8 p.m. August 14th, saying he had not been able to reach Markham throughout the day. He told Fairfield police that he let himself into the townhouse, Markham shared with her father, and found no signs of her. Her purse and keys were inside the apartment, but her cell phone was missing. Well, I thought they found that. Markham's car was parked outside the townhouse, and her dog was located in a bedroom. Friends said it was unlike Markham to leave without telling anyone. She was a month away from finishing her graphics art degree from the Art Institute. See, he didn't probably want her to finish that because she was going to probably realize that she can do whatever she wants now. Friends, relatives, local authorities, and even National Mounted Search Group from Texas conducted dozens of searches for Markham, Texas EchoSearch, to comb local parks, waterways, and areas of Butler and Hamilton County. Yep, they never found her back then. Then about 2 months later, we have this one, memorial erected in her name. I can show you that. There it is. Right there. Welcome, Cammie Nielsen. Yeah. Okay, then we have this.
It's the disappearance that has everyone's attention.
Hold on, let's just go. There's an interview with this guy. So he's the one that found the body. Oops.
It was along Big Cedar South Road, a couple of miles off Highway 52. Andy Hicks spotted this patch of garbage along the side of the road. He showed us where he found Katelyn Markham's skeletal remains. Along the side of the road. He showed us where he found Katelyn Markham's skeletal remains.
I was just, digging through this little
Nine
area
on your
here,
side.
picking up some metal, and here found a jawbone right on the other side of that little tree right there.
He said he found a jawbone right on the other side of that little
Right
tree.
between them two little trees.
At his house, Hicks provided more details about his grisly discovery. He described his call to police after he found Katelyn's remains.
I picked it up and I said, that's not no animal. And I hung it in a tree and went and called the cops, and they sent us to the DNR. DNR says, well, what makes you so sure it's a human jawbone? And I said, well, it's got all its teeth and it's shaped just like mine.
Hicks is aware of all the attention and the importance of his discovery. He says that to some degree he is grateful that it has provided some answers.
Yeah. So with the lack of a suspect at the time, people were like, ooh, is that guy part of the... Yeah, so it's somewhere right around in this area right here. He lived in the area, like right over there. And so, she was found right down there. Hold on, let me get the music playing again. Gotta have it. We're getting into the reading lull phase again. All right. Yeah, so this is an article from the 16th, 2016, January 10th. So let's see. Within minutes, Jones told the Journal News his detectives would take a look at the case. Let's see. On December 18th, the tearful Dave Markham put out a public plea to Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones, asking his department to take the unsolved case of his daughter's disappearance and death, pointing to the Fairfield police as the reason it has not been solved. Yeah, I mean, this case is so obvious, it's ridiculous. Within minutes, Jones told the Journal News his detectives would take a look at the case, and Fairfield Police Chief Mike Dickey said that the department is willing to work with other agencies. 3 weeks later, 3 assigned detectives are looking at every piece of evidence gathered from August 2011 to the day of Dave Markham's request, sheriff's officials said. It is Markham's hope that a fresh set of eyes will solve the case. It has been more than 4 years since Katelyn Markham disappeared from her Fairfield home and 2 years since the 21-year-old art student remains were found in a wooded area. We have heard all the rumors and all the stories, Kraft said. Not a lot of credence will be put into any of the elements. We are looking at the evidence. Florida private investigator J. Ryan Green, who was hired to investigate Katelyn's case, said he is investigating 3 theories about Katelyn's death. It was a homicide, an accident, or a drug overdose. What? Katelyn Markham disappeared from his condo on August 13 on her condo on August 13, 2011. Her skeletal remains were found at a dump site in a wooded area in rural Indiana in 2013. A coroner ruled her death a homicide, but the cause of death remains unknown. Police never publicly identified a suspect. Katelyn Markham was last seen alive by her fiancé, John Carter, who reported her missing. Thank you, Eugenie. Yeah, a second. Oh, thanks, Lillian on PayPal there. Okay. Don't see any notebook orders, guys. Come on, only 20 left. A coroner ruled her death a homicide, but the cause of death remains unknown. See, I think she was strangled to death. During the December news conference, Green, who was hired to investigate Katelyn's case, said a new piece of evidence, which has been processed for DNA, could break the case wide open. So that was 2016. And then, right now, here we go. Boom. Fiancé of Katelyn Markham arrested for her murder, prosecutors said. The fiancé of Katelyn Markham has been arrested on 2 counts of murder in connection with their death, according to Butler County prosecutor. I wonder what the 2 counts of murder, like maybe 1st degree and 2nd degree, maybe. What are you talking about, Cindy? What do you mean it said, what are you talking about? You just randomly typed in something. The fiancé of Katelyn Markham has been arrested on 2 counts of murder in connection with their death, according to Butler County prosecutor Mike Gmoser. John Carter, who was Markham's fiancé when she disappeared in 2011, was taken into custody Wednesday, the prosecutor confirmed to Fox 19 Now. Katelyn was last seen at her Fairfield apartment on August 13, 2011. Police said at the time her remains were discovered at a dump site. It has been more than a decade since David Markham last saw his daughter. After learning of Carter's arrest Wednesday, he said it comes as no surprise. It's not a surprise. This is the father. I mean, I did suspect him all along, David said Wednesday. I think a lot of people, if not a vast majority of people, suspected him. Statistically, it's the spouse or boyfriend, or, 95% of cases like this, it's their spouse or boyfriend or fiancé. So if you're looking at it, it should have happened. It shouldn't have, well, let's see. So if you're looking at it, it should have happened. Not sure what that means. John Carter, who was Katelyn Markham's fiance. Carter was allegedly the last person to see Katelyn alive and called 911 to report her disappearance. So I guess the call is on a video. Let's listen.
My fiance is missing. I can't find her anywhere.
The day after friends and family realized that Katelyn Markham wasn't responding to calls or text messages, her fiance called 911.
I saw her at like 12 o'clock last night. she stays in a house by herself. So I'm really nervous. Her car is still there. I have been trying to get a hold of her, and I decided to go by her house to see if she was okay. And her car was still there. She would be at work right now with her car, which is why I'm really freaking out.
John Carter, Markham's boyfriend of 6 years, recounts to 911 operators what Markham was doing when he last saw her around 11:30 Saturday night.
Where was she at midnight last night when you last
She was
saw her?
at her house. She was going to bed. She wasn't going out to do anything, so she would have been in her bed. And I mean, I've been with her for 6 years. She's not deceiving, She doesn't.
Okay, and you guys didn't have an argument or anything?
Not at all.
Carter then tells 911 operators about the Sacred Heart Festival that was being held here at the Sacred Heart Church in Fairfield near Markham's apartment. He voices concerns about the crowd.
The only thing that's not there is her cell phone, which is positive, but she's not answering it. So,
Thanks, Jeff.
And the Sacred Heart Festival is going on right up the street, and there's a lot of questionable people there.
Let's see. Green also claims... So there's another person in here that lied or something, that's charged with something. Carter is the second person arrested in the investigation. There you go. The Butler County Prosecutor's Office confirmed the arrest of Jonathan Palmerton on February 22nd for one count of perjury for allegedly lying to investigators. But why can't you lie to investigators unless they're FBI? I mean, they can lie to you all day long, right? I mean, a judge set his bond at $50,000 just days after he was arrested. Sometime before Palmerton's arrest, investigators executed 2 search warrants on separate properties. One property is where Palmerton lived in 2011, a house on Ann Court in Fairfield. The other property is where Carter previously lived. A lot of time in this case, you'll see small changes and then they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then boom, you've got a murder charge on somebody. Private investigator. So they probably arrested this Palmerton guy and they're going to cut him a deal. And he probably helped get rid of her body, something like that. Green also claims Palmerton has connection to Michael Strauss. He provided a photo showing... What's this mean? A lot of times in these cases... Okay, so it says boom. This is Katelyn Markham case featured on TV. Green also claims Palmerton has connection to Michael Strauss. He provided a photo showing the two together at a festival. Strauss, a convicted killer in another case, wow, popped up on investigators' radar in 2018. He allegedly shares mutual friends with Carter and allegedly confessed to a fellow inmate that he killed a second woman named Shelley and left her body by a creek. Her name wasn't Shelley, though. Investigators have not said whether they have connected Strauss to Katelyn's case in any way, but Fairfield Police and Westchester Police have had meetings. So maybe it was all, like, multiple people involved. I guess we'll find out later, right? It took 12 years of investigating by multiple police agencies, but the Butler County Prosecutor's Office made an arrest Wednesday in 2011 death of Katelyn Markham. Yeah, she's looking at giving him the side eye in that picture there. I think they're all the same now. It looked like he looks totally different now, though. Let me see. I don't know where that was, but there was a picture of him where he had long hair and didn't look good. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for that case. Good news, though. I mean, after all those years, it's pretty weird to you know, get it solved, have it solved. Like
Katelyn Markham's father a short time ago, and he tells me this has been a long time coming since the death and disappearance.
Well, there's this picture. Maybe that's the current one. And the one I was looking at, maybe that's not really him. I don't know. Well, you guys, I might have to throw myself in prison again. We're in that crazy zone again where it's just, you know, we get one of these things. Because if you subtract out 2 people here, it would be horrendous. Who is mean? What are you talking about? You mean you put some weird words up there? Oh. Well, hell, if you're already sending bail in, I might as well go to jail then. So we got Kami in prison. Her dog, actually. The dog's in prison. Wow. That's not good. Oh man. Maybe I'll put the whole chat in there.
Arrived in time to send money towards bail.
Thanks, Norm Scanlon. Yep. Always need bail. Yeah, Cindy said I was mean, so I'm in prison. Yep. Free Murphy. You gotta admit, that's pretty weird, isn't it? Because it was actually in my mind thinking, okay, well, the Idaho case, another dog locked in a room, and then it has the same name. A weird name. It's not like it's Ralph or something. Yeah, so that's for freeing Murphy. Arrived just in time. So we got enough for the guard to look another way. Is this the food good? Oh, is the food good? Eh, not really. Okay, blend you. Man, we're gonna be in jail. We're gonna be in here for a long time tonight. I can feel it. I don't know. That was some killer in a case, or he killed his sister or something. He just looked really weird. Oh, Snicker bar to gamble with Alex. All right. Guess we'll get on that. Hamilton Blue Star Robertson. Thank you. I guess she lives there, or he. I don't know if you're a girl or what you are. What, you know, that doesn't tell me anything. But don't you live in the area and see that you used to see him walking around, Markham? Right. Okay. There we go. Taco Queen might actually be able to get me the hell out of here. Let me turn on the live chat. Thanks, Teresa Murray. You know what's weird is all these cases now with spouses, and they're all guys, killing the, or, you know, girlfriends or spouses, or, you know, it's crazy. It's almost like there's something in the air doing it. All right. Thank you for those who helped bail me out of there. Jennifer Epic and Robin for meat stick. A meat stick. You mean a Slim Jim? Wow, a meat stick. Boy, that doesn't sound good. Oh, well, there's Danielle. That'll get me a meal and a ride home. Maybe even a hotel. Thank you. Alright, well, now we're going to move on to another one now. This is the main case for tonight. It's new. It's kind of a newer one from a week or two ago. Well, it's older than that, but it's got a lot of moving parts to it.
Bail.
Thank you. Huh? A meat stick? That's gross. We have a meat stick.
Bail.
No, I've looked that up. There hasn't been any updates on that. Maybe they put something out today. Let's see. No?
Bail.
Well, Fox News finally mentioned it yesterday. No, it's not. That they didn't mention. That's some other story. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. Pretty weird. Okay, so this is the murder of Becky Bliefnick. Bliefnick. So I'm just going back in time. You know, this Timothy Bliefnick right here, I think that's him. I mean, how many people have that last name in the same area? He's a basketball player. This is 1998 when he's a freshman in high school. Then 2000, he's a football player. Yeah, he's obviously pretty good at sports. He's in the paper. Then 2005, we have, you know, he went to college even, and Tim Bliefnick received the Mark Heinen Award for being named the Outstanding Senior Male Athlete of Quincy University. And that's the university he graduated from. So that leads me to believe that that's the same person. Okay, because they live in Quincy. Bliefnick was a NAIA second team All-American at linebacker for the Quincy football team. He led the Hawks with 104 tackles, the second best total in the conference, and had 297 for his career. All right, then 2011, this is Becca. Her real last name is Postel, and it looks like she got a divorce from somebody. And then I found his name on this website. So that's him as an adult. Donate to Tim Bliefnick's fundraiser. So apparently I couldn't find it on YouTube, but I found the channel it should have been on. And apparently he raised $2,251 for a Moments That Matter steak eating challenge for some sort of charity, I guess. And apparently it was on live on YouTube, but that channel, QMG Foundation, didn't have any live feeds on it. Then in 2021, oh yeah, right here, Timothy Bliefnick reported. See, I wonder if this is related to the homicide here. Timothy, it has a feel of Alec Murdoch. And I'm not just saying that, oh, because it's Alec Murdoch. Listen to this. Timothy Bliefnick reported his 2019 Honda was entered and a firearm and money was stolen. Right? So now we have oh man, my gun was stolen. Right? So now he doesn't have a gun, but I mean, let's just keep that in mind, that he's reporting a gun stolen in this is 2021 in May, right? And now we're going back to February 24th of this year.
Good evening, I'm Daniel. When McKenzie is off tonight, we'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, there are still very few details being made available as Quincy police continue to investigate a woman's death. Police say 41-year-old Rebecca Bliefnick was found by a family member Thursday. Police say she had been shot multiple times.
See, shot multiple times? Is that from the gun that he reported stolen in 2021?
The Deputy Chief of Operations, Michael Tyler, says they have not yet narrowed the investigation to one suspect, and investigators are still working the case.
I mean, we're working hard on it. We have 8 detectives and multiple agencies helping us out on this. Plus, we had a lot of patrol officers working on it. So we're hoping that we can develop some leads.
Tyler says officers are still canvassing the neighborhood and asking for video footage from those who might have systems installed.
Well, currently, I'm just going through this in order in time, okay? So Quincy police on Friday shared more details about an ongoing homicide investigation into the death reported Thursday afternoon. Adams County Coroner Scott Graham reported Friday the victim was Rebecca Bliefnick, who lived in the 2500 block of Kentucky Road. QPD Deputy Chief of Operations Michael Tyler said Friday that a family member found Bliefnick's body in her home. When officers arrived, they found the 41-year-old woman with multiple gunshot wounds. Police stated detectives and crime scene technicians were at the house until late Thursday, processing the crime scene, collecting evidence, and interviewing witnesses. Detectives continue to look for additional witnesses and evidence. So I think she and Timothy are separated, or even, I don't know, I'm not sure if they're divorced or not, but I heard somewhere else. Well, let me just keep going through this. At this point, we don't think anybody's in danger, but we don't have a solid suspect at this point. Tyler said no determination has been made about whether the shooting was random. We're working hard on it, Tyler said. We have 8 detectives and multiple agencies helping us out on this. Plus, we had a lot of patrol officers working on it. So we're hoping that we can develop some leads. Tyler said officers are still canvassing the neighborhood and asking for video footage, etc., etc., etc. All right, let's go. Funeral services have been set for Rebecca Bliefnick. Visitation for Bliefnick, 41. This person here isn't related to anything. Will be held on Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. The funeral mass is set for Friday. Bliefnick was found dead by a family member in her home in the 2500 block of Kentucky Road. Police said she died from multiple gunshot wounds and her death is being investigated as a homicide. And this is also on the 1st. So, okay, this is interesting then. Let me go to the other case. So the house that she was shot in is this one right here. So they live in separate homes, so they're divorced or they're separated. Don't really know. So that's the home she was shot in. Then the home that we're seeing on the screen, that we just saw on the screen a minute ago, is this one. It's a pretty interesting looking house. You have to go over here to see it. So there you go, and that's that. See, same one. Police are searching, that's his house, are searching a home in Quincy related to the homicide of Rebecca Bliefnick. And friends of the victim tell KHQA News the home being searched is where Bliefnick's estranged husband lives. However, Quincy Police Chief Adam Yates would not comment on who lives in the home. So at this point, they're already looking at the husband. Around 8 a.m. on Wednesday, detectives, officers, and emergency response team members of the Quincy Police Department served a search warrant at 1641 Hampshire and temporarily detained a person.
Tonight, new information in an ongoing homicide investigation in
warrant in connection with Hampshire Street in Quincy. We're here on the 1600th block of Hampshire Street in Quincy, where this morning police officers executed a search warrant in connection with the murder of Rebecca Bliefnick. The warrant was executed that included an individual who friends of the victim have identified as Bliefnick's estranged husband. He was detained and released around the 2000 block of Hampshire. However, Chief Adam Yates would not comment on who lives in the home.
Well, of course, the husband does.
Tonight, new information.
That's the same
husband.
One, right? As part of the warrant service, a person was temporarily detained in the 2000 block. So that's the husband. He was temporarily detained. Kind of a cool looking house in a way. And then this is from March 13th. A 39-year-old nurse and mom of 3 was allegedly killed by her estranged husband. So that's her right there. The estranged husband of an Illinois nurse who was found dead in her home last month has been arrested on suspicion of murder. So that's why I'm wondering, though, is that gun that he reported missing in 2021, is this something he just waited and waited for the perfect time? Because apparently they had, I heard by reading through another article that they had restraining orders against each other. This brutal crime has had the Quincy community on edge and our residents living in fear. I hope today's announcement can begin to calm some of the concerns. Adams County State Attorney Gary L. Farah called the incident an act of domestic violence. Look at him. I mean, he looks so crazy and different than his football days. And not only that, look at this, everybody. This guy right here was on Family Feud, all right, the show. And look at this. I'll play the clip.
His haunting response to host Steve Harvey's question about wedding day mistakes.
What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?
Honey, I love you, but said I do.
Ah, Jesus. So his biggest mistake was saying, honey, I love you, but then saying I do.
The audience gasped, and Bliefnick attempted to clarify.
See, look at Harvey. You know what's weird about Harvey? He didn't even give a slight smile at all.
Listen to his haunting response to host Steve Harvey's question about wedding day mistakes.
What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?
Honey, I love you, but said I do.
Harvey looks like he wants to punch him.
Audience gasped, and Bliefnick attempted to clarify.
Not my mistake. I love my wife. I'm going to get in trouble for that, aren't I?
Yes.
Psh, idiot. So this is what he looks like now, though. Tim also made local headlines in 2020 for appearing on the episode of Family Feud. Sarah Riley, Becky's sister, had started a GoFundMe to establish a scholarship fund in Becky's name and help her family with expenses related to her death, as well as supporting the three sons she left behind. On the GoFundMe page, Riley wrote, so she had 3 kids, huh? Jeez. And he was probably having to pay support. On the GoFundMe page, Riley wrote that her sister will be remembered for a life of compassion, generosity, faith, and fierce love for her family. Becky always envisioned herself working hands-on in medical professions, so it was no surprise when she chose a career in nursing. According to an online obituary, Becky was nominated for the International Daisy Award, which honors extraordinary nurses. She was described as a quintessential boy mom who had a deep devotion for her family. Her boys were her world, her life's greatest gifts. She was the quintessential boy mom, aptly illustrated by building for Halloween Transformer costumes that actually transformed, creating a costume first day of school. Posters each year and jumping all in with fishing and frog hunting and anything sports. So that's a great mom there. You know, so she probably did stuff she didn't even like to do. So here's the press.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, by the way, I fixed the audio for you guys again. It came out of one side and it was quiet.
Thank you for being here. My name is Adam Yates. I'm the Chief of Police for the Quincy Police Department. On February 23rd, Rebecca Bliefnick, a 41-year-old mother of 3, was found shot to death in her home in the 2500 block of Kentucky Road. Since that day, detectives with the Quincy Police Department have been working nonstop, gathering information, collecting evidence, and piecing together the events that led to Miss Bliefnick's death 2 weeks ago. I asked our community for patience as we worked through this investigation. Today, I have an update. At 8:24 this morning, Quincy Police Department detectives and members of the department's emergency response team arrested 39-year-old Timothy W. Bliefnick of Quincy for a no-bond warrant for 2 counts of first-degree murder and home invasion for the murder of Rebecca Bliefnick. Mr. Bliefnick was located at a residence in the 2500 block of Kentucky Road and was taken into custody without incident.
Yeah, and this is on WGEM.
Mr. Bliefnick was transported to the Adams County Jail, where he is currently lodged. I want to remind everyone that in our criminal justice system, individuals are presumed to be innocent until proven guilty.
First-degree murder.
A great deal of work went into getting to this point in the investigation. I want to thank Adams County State's Attorney Gary Farhall for the support his office has provided. Since the discovery of Ms. Bliefnick's body on February 23rd, lead trial attorney Josh Jones and Assistant State's Attorney Laura Keck have been working alongside our investigators, which is critical during complex investigations. I want to also thank Adams County Sheriff Tony Gertens and his deputies, as well as the Illinois State Police investigators and forensic scientists who have provided their support, personnel, resources, and expertise over the last 19 days. More than anything, I want to commend the Quincy Police Department Investigative Division under the command of Lieutenant Kathy Schisler, Sergeant Brian Dush, and Sergeant James Brown for the extraordinary work they have done over the last 2+ weeks. Our detectives and detective supervisors have worked long hours, weekends, and off days putting the pieces of this investigation together. There is much work yet to be done and the investigation continues, but today's development is a significant step forward in the search for justice
They
for
didn't
Rebecca.
say how they found out.
I'm very proud of the men and women of the Quincy Police
They have
Department.
other articles, so we'll see what.
Also, it is important to acknowledge that the assistance
Well,
and
they're gonna ask
cooperation of the
questions
public was key to moving this investigation forward. This brutal crime has had the Quincy community on edge and our residents living in fear. I hope today's announcement can begin to calm some of those concerns. That said, it is good to remember to not become complacent. Make sure you lock your doors. Turn on exterior lights. Be aware of your surroundings and report suspicious activity to the police. These are things we should always do. We must look out for one another and work together to make Quincy as safe as possible. To Ms. Bliefnick's family, nothing we can do as a police department will ever bring Rebecca back to you and her 3 boys. All we can do is use our tools, talents, and every available resource to bring you justice. Our thoughts and prayers remain with you. As I said, this is an ongoing investigation. Though an arrest has been made, we must remain guarded as to what information is released. As this case moves through the various court proceedings, more information will become available. For now, please forgive my refusal to provide specific details, including those that led to today's arrest.
Oh, there you go. We don't get them.
At this point, I would like to turn it over to Adams County State's Attorney Gary Farhall for remarks.
Thank you, Chief Yates, and thank you guys for appearing here. I want to commend the performance of the men and women of the Quincy Police Department who have made extraordinary efforts in bringing about the charges that have been leveled today. I also want to thank my staff, starting with my first assistant, Todd Eiler, my lead trial attorney, Josh Jones, Laura Keck, an assistant state's attorney, and all my staff who have covered for their responsibilities while they worked tirelessly on this case. Josh Jones has prepared a statement, and I'm going to let him come and do that now. Thank you again.
My name is Josh Jones. I'm lead trial attorney for the State's Attorney's Office. This is Miss Laura Keck, our domestic violence prosecutor and my trial partner in this case. We would like to thank the Quincy Police Department and their officers for their tireless determination and dedication in reaching this stage into the investigation of the murder of Rebecca Bliefnick by her estranged husband, Tim Bliefnick.
Scouting dude.
While this is an important step and an important stage of the investigation, it's important to remember it is just that, a first step. At this point, the defendant is presumed innocent of the charges. Our office will continue to work hand in hand with the detectives as the investigation continues into this heinous and premeditated act that the defendant is alleged to have committed. Our Quincy community should rest assured that this horrific crime was not a random act of violence. However, it is equally as important to recognize the event for what it is, an act of domestic violence. Domestic violence takes many forms, and regardless of whether a victim suffers from emotional abuse, physical abuse, or what our community is confronting today, every victim of domestic violence must be treated with the urgency, the respect, and the compassion that he or she deserves. Every victim of domestic violence deserves to be seen, to be heard, and to be believed. The State's Attorney's Office of Adams County and its prosecutors and staff are dedicated to the pursuit of justice for every victim. While our thoughts and prayers are with Rebecca Bliefnick's family and her children, our focus and our efforts remain on bringing her murderer to justice. Thank you.
At this point, we'll open it up to any questions.
Are any other arrests likely at this time?
Not at this time.
Question for Josh. When will Mr. Bliefnick be in court?
I believe he'll be in court tomorrow at 1:30 in courtroom 1A is our current plan.
1:30, you said?
1:30.
Okay. At this time, on the amount of bond you're asking that's been set, or you're asking for?
Our office has filed a motion to hold the defendant without bond, That motion will have to be heard by a judge at some point in the future.
How confident you are in the evidence that you've gathered?
Well, you need to establish probable cause in order to make an arrest. So at that point, or at this point in the investigation, that we believe that hurdle has been reached.
I think they both had them against each other, but I think it was probably completely one way, because this is exactly the scenario that you see all the time. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times we've covered cases like that where, he's going to be, I guess I learned a long time ago. There's two different types, like a cobra and pit bull. The pit bull's one where they're always drunk and violent, and kind of like every single day there's some sort of a thing, and then the cobra is one that plots and plans and then waits for a time to strike. And I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. So this guy, we don't know what's been going on, but it could be that he's like a cobra type, where there's little incidents that happen and then somebody files a restraining order, but then he just waited and plotted and planned. Wouldn't that be weird if the again, that gun that he reported stolen in 2021, he made sure, and guess what else was, you know what it sounds a lot like? Jodi Arias. Because Jodi Arias used a 23 caliber, one of those really tiny guns, and then she reported there was a break-in at her grandfather's house where the 23 caliber was missing, or 25 caliber, excuse me. 25 caliber and the, and money stolen, right? Well, it's easy to say, oh my God, money stolen. Well, it's in your pocket, you idiot. Right, so you have money stolen, and then you have the gun stolen, and then later on, it's used in a crime that you could use, but you claim you didn't have it because it was stolen. Remember the police report? How could I have used it when it was stolen? It must be whoever stole that gun before.
Obtained an arrest warrant for Mr. Bliefnick's arrest that was signed by a judge, so evidence was presented, and obviously in coordination with the Adams County State's Attorney's Office. That's where we're at in this investigation, so we're to that point. Like I said, there's a lot of work that's still going to need to be done. There's still evidence that we're waiting for reports on from the State Crime Lab, so our detectives will continue to diligently work.
Like Photos Doulos is a cobra. That's exactly the same type of person.
To put more pieces together and to continue to work on this case, but at this point, that's where we're at in the investigation.
At what point was Timothy Bliefnick considered a suspect?
But man, what's going on tonight, guys? We're having one of those crazy nights that we were just talking about the other night. Slow as hell.
And, in any homicide investigation, you have to keep every option open. You have to make sure you don't get tunnel vision. Our detectives are experienced in working these types of investigations, and we've learned long ago that tunnel vision can be detrimental in this type of investigation. So from the very beginning, any type of homicide that, has to do with, the family members are always looked at, neighbors are looked at.
It's not hard to have tunnel vision when you know that both of them are separated and then she was shot in her home.
Looked at.
He looks
any
like
random reports of violence throughout the community are looked at. So, I think it was
weird.
Pretty much, as far as our investigation, everybody was considered a suspect from the very beginning. And this is exactly where the evidence has led us up to this point, and that's how we got here.
You said Mr. Bliefnick was cooperative when he was brought in this morning?
That's correct. Yeah, he was taken into custody without incident.
How cooperative was he throughout the whole process?
I'm not going to comment on it at this point.
Why not?
Any other questions?
Well, you're not really answering anything, so they're probably like, no.
Do we know about the care of the 3 children?
I'm going to ask Sergeant Brown, who is our youth detective supervisor, to come up and address that question.
Show us what text. What are you talking about?
Thank you and good morning. I want to point out that the concern for their children is something that we've had in the back of our mind as a priority during this whole time. The incident was hotlined to DCFS. There is currently a DCFS agent making contact with the children.
Thank you, Walker Homestead, for the 22 months. See, I can say it now, you guys. Hey, freaks, I hope everyone's doing well. Well, thank you.
With one of the QPD investigators. It'll be up to
if you're not a
DCFS
channel
to
member,
start working
consider
on,
becoming one.
Kind of what happens from here with the kids.
And by the way, can we hit the like button, please? I mean, it's just when you come in, just hit the like button right away. It's really simple to do because we're only at 228 likes with 418 people watching.
I'm fired out of it now.
Hit the like button, 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 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, hit that like button, 10, 20.
You want to put 30, sir, 25,
Yeah, it's really quite easy. You just take your thumb out and press the button.
Mr. Bliefnick does have no bond, at least for tonight. So DCFS and one of the QPD detectives are currently with the children. Made contact with the children at St. Peter's School this morning, shortly after Tim's arrest. And
oh yeah,
so
going to
it's
Aurora?
kind of in the hands of DCFS at this point.
Oh. Nope. If you want to take some pictures and send them over, I mean, it's already been solved. But.
Okay, if there's no other questions.
Domestic violence. It's prosecutor.
Question for Josh. When will Mr. Bliefnick be in court?
I believe he'll be in court tomorrow at 1:30 in courtroom 1A. Is our
bond you're asking that's been gathered?
Well, you need to make establish probable cause in order to make an arrest. So at that point, or at this point in the investigation, that we believe that hurdle has been reached. We obtained an arrest warrant for Mr. Bliefnick's arrest.
Got a free member.
Signed by a
Randy Ross has got a free membership from Tawny Lee.
Judge, so evidence was presented, and obviously in coordination with the Adams County State's Attorney's Office, that's where we're at in this investigation. So we're to that point. Like I said, there's a lot of work that's still going to need to be done. There's still evidence that we're waiting for reports on from the State Crime Lab. So our detectives will continue to diligently work to put more pieces together and to continue to work on this case. But at this point, that's where we're at in the investigation.
At what point was Timothy Bliefnick considered as a suspect?
And, you know, in any homicide investigation, you have to keep every option open. You have to make...
No, I just said subscribe. It would be cool if it worked that way, where I could do, all right, everybody, it's time to send in super chats. Here's how we go. Send in 5, maybe 10 if you add it, maybe 5, maybe 2, 5. You got 5 or you got 10, you got the 10. Maybe 10, 15, or 20.
20.
Make sure you don't get tunnel vision.
Or a million.
You know, our detectives are experienced in working these types of investigations, and we've learned long ago that tunnel vision can be detrimental in this type of investigation. So from the very beginning, you know, any type of homicide that, you know, has to do with, you know, the family members are always looked at, neighbors are looked at, any random reports of violence throughout the community are looked at. So, I mean, I think it was pretty much, as far as our investigation, everybody was considered a suspect from the very beginning. And this is exactly where the evidence has led us up to this point, and that's how we got here.
Oh, wow, it worked. Thanks, Plato.
You said Mr. Bliefnick was cooperative when he was brought in this morning?
That's correct. Yeah, he was taken into custody.
Correct.
How cooperative was he throughout the whole process?
I'm not going to comment on it at this point.
That's right.
Any other questions?
Okay. Well, that's it. I just wanted to play that part again.
I'm going to ask Sergeant Brown, who is our youth detective supervisor, to come up and address that question.
Okay. Thanks, Walker Homestead. You're the one that told me to do it. I was just kidding, but hey, thank you.
It works.
Let's see, 39. Timothy Bliefnick, 39, was charged March 13th with 2 counts of first-degree murder and home invasion in the death of Rebecca Bliefnick, 41, so he broke into the home, who was found dead in her Illinois home on February 23rd. It was not a random act of violence, Josh Jones, lead trial attorney for Adams County State's attorney, said it at a press conference March 13th. However, it's equally as important to recognize the event for what it is, an act of domestic violence. That's that one guy wearing that suit, the dark suit there. Timothy's attorney, Casey Schnack, however, confirmed to E, so this is E Online, that her client plans to plead not guilty. Oh, really? Wow, that's a shock. We've hit the ground running in preparing Tim's defense and have spent the majority, let me guess, self-defense, right? 3 ninjas were in the house. The majority of our time preparing preliminary motions with certain items of evidence we believe to be out there, Casey shared. We've spoken to several members of Tim's family that are standing behind him and can speak to his character. Oh, well, I tell you what, if his family is saying he's a good guy and would never do something like that, I have to believe it, you guys. I mean, they have nothing to gain whatsoever to say that their own family member is a good person. So I think they're barking up the wrong tree. I think we need to start looking at other suspects here. Yeah, and I'm sure he is looking at a Bible too. They probably said, look, we talked to his family members. They're standing by him and speak to his character. Okay, and he's also been going to church and, studying the Bible every day. Tim maintains his presumption of innocence until a judge takes that away from him. Timothy, who had been separated from his wife for 2 years, according to his attorney, appeared on a 2020 episode. Okay, so he's been separated for 2 years. Right. Okay, so not divorced, they're separated. And he was on Family Feud. So that would have been almost like just before they were separated. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they got separated after that appearance and the idiotic things he was saying. During the episode, host Steve Harvey asked Timothy, "What's your biggest mistake you made at your wedding?" And he responded, "Honey, I love you, but I said I do, Not my mistake. Not my mistake." Timothy, who played football at Quincy University, see, that was him, before becoming a sales executive, continued, "I love my wife. I'm going to get in trouble for that, aren't I?" After Fox News Digital first discovered the clip, his attorney told the outlet, "It's a game show. A silly answer to a silly question on a silly show doesn't make one a murderer." Well, I know, he doesn't even say anything about murder. He just said that he shouldn't have said "I do." As family and friends continue mourning the loss of Rebecca, an online obituary confirms she was certified trauma nurse and a sexual assault nurse examiner. Wow. And while Rebecca was dedicated to her professional life, her obituary says her greatest passion was being a mom to her 3 sons. Maybe we should read that. All right. Quincy native Rebecca Burnett Postle Bliefnick was murdered in her home February 23rd, 2023. She was just 41 years old. Despite the circumstances of her death, she is remembered for the life she cherished, a life of compassion, generosity, faith, and fierce love of her family. Becky was born in Quincy, Illinois, attending Payson Seymour Elementary School, followed by Quincy Notre Dame High School, where she was named valedictorian. Wow. I mean, what a shame. I mean, not to say that if she wasn't a valedictorian, so people always go, "What do you mean?" But I mean, she was obviously like a really shining, bright light out there. Right? I mean, Becky was born, look at this. I mean, she was named valedictorian, the first of many academic at Notre Dame High School, right? I mean, that's like, let's see. I mean, that's, what's going on? Why, how come the dog is, the dog's going nuts? It keeps trying to get out the door.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, she graduated from Cum Laude from Quincy University with a bachelor's degree. So everywhere she goes, she just does really well. And even in the, remember she was named like the nurse of the year in another article? I mean, she graduated cum laude from Quincy University with a bachelor's degree in biological science with a minor in chemistry, and worked for Sanofi Adventist as one of their top performing pharmaceutical sales representatives. I don't know what the attendance is at Notre Dame High School, but regardless, she was the best. But Becky always envisioned herself working hands-on in the medical profession, so it was no surprise when she left pharmaceuticals for a career in nursing, her true calling, where she was able to provide care and comfort to people on a daily basis. Becky graduated summa cum laude from Blessing Riemann College of Nursing and Health Science, as well as receiving the Faculty Outstanding Senior Award. Even more remarkably, she gave birth to her third child during spring break of her senior year, only missing one day of school. Becky worked for Quincy Medical Group in gastrointestinal surgery before transitioning to Blessing Hospital's emergency room. During the COVID pandemic, she additionally worked as a travel nurse as both Northeast Regional Medical Center in Kirksville, I don't know if that's Missouri, and Hannibal Regional Hospital in Hannibal, Missouri. In 2020, Becky was nominated for the International Daisy Award, which honors exceptional care given by extraordinary nurses. The nomination testimonial stated, "I got to kiss my husband and tell him how much I loved him, all because of Becky. There are no words to express how grateful I am to her for what she did." Well, it's too bad she didn't have a husband that she wanted to kiss. Beyond her registered nurse credentials, she was also a certified trauma nurse specialist and a sexual assault nurse examiner. At the time of her death, she worked at Blessing Hospital in vascular access and was working towards her nurse practitioner certification. In addition to her career, Becky always made time for service. According to members of the St. Peter's Grade School Association, where Becky volunteered for the last 5 years, Becky was a tremendous asset and always willing to help pitch in, whether it was coordinating the mother-son event, planning the teacher conference luncheons, or coordinating the school's room mothers. Her love of animals led her volunteering at Homeward Bound Wagon, a non-profit, all-volunteer animal rescue group. Becky was also slated to begin volunteering in the spring at Quest Stables, which focuses on providing therapeutic riding services. As dedicated as she was to her professional pursuits, her most profound devotion... Hold on, let me turn... I think I'm missing my music. I need that. I need that little background sound. There we go. As dedicated as she was to her professional pursuit, her most profound devotion was to her family. Her boys were her world, her life's greatest gifts. She was the quintessential boy mom, aptly illustrated by building for Halloween Transformer costumes that actually transformed, creating a costume. First day of school, posters each year, and jumping all in with fish and frog hunting and anything sports. Her Catholic faith was of great importance, and she worked diligently to instill her love for God in her boys. Becky's friends and colleagues regale countless stories of how she brightened their lives, going above and beyond with her time, energy, and generosity, from dropping in to check on a friend with a migraine to dropping off a crib to a friend in need and staying to help assemble it. She paid it forward, small gestures with lasting impact. She always found a way to highlight the achievements of others while never demanding the spotlight, although she deserved it often. Becky loved to laugh, and that laugh was contagious. Everyone that knew her remembers her random humor. She made the mundane fun. For the upcoming school Olympics, she envisioned an obstacle course ending with whoopee cushion fart to stop with the timer. Hey, thanks again, Tosh. Appreciate it.
We know so little about most victims. What a tragic loss.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like she was a absolute, like a gem that the wacko, here's how I picture this guy. Like, he was was a big star in sports, and his life and everything went back downhill. It was going downhill, and then he met her, and things were like, okay, I won again, because she's awesome. And then he just never really reclaimed the fame that he once had. And then he started probably taking it out on her, and then eventually he killed her. That's what it sort of feels like. I mean, like he's gone downhill ever since his college days. I mean, look at what a cheesy pile of shit he was on that game show. I mean, really? God. What a... let's see. Becky's beautiful... Sorry for swearing, you guys. But man, he really was a pile of shit. Becky's beautiful life will forever be cherished by her parents, Bill and Bernadette Postel, her children, Deacon, Grayson, and Arlen Bliefnick, her sister, brother-in-law, and nieces, Sarah, Brett, going through the name. A mass Christian burial will be Friday, March 3rd, 2023 at 10 a.m. In lieu of flowers, donations to a memorial fund to be established in Becky's name can be made to Bernadette Postel via check or to Becky's sister. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Isn't that weird? You look at that, and then you go back in time. Here he is. That's him there. He looks a little different because his face is doing that, but definitely it's him, because this is absolutely him in that one. You can even see the same. I mean, that looks like him. Look. Let's see. Can I do it where? Yeah. So you can see that is that guy. Same hair, everything. And this is from 2000. He's a football player. I guess he was pretty good. Oh yeah, what was this document here? Oh yeah, I think this thing talks about... Just a second. Yeah, there we go. So this is a... it was in a a PDF file from a college. It says Becky Postel Bliefnick. I just went and tried to find all these different things out there. Is co-owner of Q-Town CrossFit in Quincy. So they must have bought a workout place together or something, because he's also in there. Next, there he is, Tim Bliefnick. He graduated 2005. So this is that's right. So this is 2013, and it's talking about what some of their graduates have done. And here's Tim Bliefnick. is co-owner and coach of Q-Town CrossFit in Quincy. So I guess they owned a business together at one point in 2013. But look at the stark difference there. Man. All right, well, I think that's about it for that case, and I don't really have any more things. I thought some of this would go longer, but really didn't go any longer. So we could try doing the I don't know if you guys want to do the serial killer newspaper or trying to find something in newspapers.com or not, but or I could just make it a shorter night. I could go do something. Yeah, I said that earlier, WNC Granny. I said that they both had restraining orders against each other. And she had one against her father-in-law too, huh? That's interesting. I didn't say that. I said that they had restraining orders against each other. No, I didn't say that, Cindy. I did the dentist update at the beginning. No, I don't need the link. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Does it say the reason why in the link, WNC Granny? Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's just sort of probably his son didn't like him. Collins for what? No, so after her husband was arrested, she filed it? Well, probably because maybe he threatened her. Or, no, wait a minute. After her husband, well, she couldn't have because she's dead. No, it was filed after her husband was. What? All right, go ahead and send it. As long as it gets in the next 30 seconds. The kids are probably, I don't know, I would say they're in their teens for sure. Yeah, I'm going to do the, tomorrow I'm going to do the Letitia Stauk. We'll go back over that and read through the PDF file of the warrant, and then, when the trial comes, you guys will all be aware of what's known in the public. All right? Where is it? WNC Granny? Should only take 10 seconds. Yeah, but this is one of those slower type of nights, Cindy, so it's always better to hold stuff for a different night just to have a full content. So let's see what this one is. All right, it says the estranged husband of Rebecca Bliefnick was found dead from multiple. Okay, she was found dead from multiple gunshot wounds in February. This is worded really badly. The estranged husband. of Rebecca. It's almost like the Who is talking about the estranged husband, although you just say Rebecca. Multiple gunshot wounds in February, is officially suspect in her homicide. She's not. Come on. Hey, thanks, WNC Granny. Tim Bliefnick, 39, of Quincy, was arrested on Monday, March 13th. His arrest came 12 days after police searched his home. The couple reportedly married in 2009. So they owned that business together before they were married. But at the time of her... No, they weren't. That was 2013. Time of their death, they were going through divorce proceedings. Okay, so they were separated, and now she wanted a divorce. And with that would mean that he would pay child support. See, that's why I always tell people, when you got a guy like this, a psycho that you have a restraining order against, make sure that there is no child support payments or anything that they're responsible for. And that might, because you can do it, all right? That's what I'm saying. Just, you can make it on your own. You don't need to worry about something like this. So it could also be that his control ran out and she was going to be by herself with the kids. And, you know, but they were already separated for a long time. So the divorce was probably the deal there. I've seen, I mean, if you've been on this channel, everybody knows how many cases we've covered where it's possible that, like, child support and things like that are the reason that the guy killed that person. You know? It's never the other way around, because normally the women are given custody and the guy has to pay child support. So, I mean, that's just kind of the way it works normally, but well, Grant, that's not true. I remember this one time. Well, I'm not talking about you, right? Yeah. Sometime later, Tim Bliefnick filed... Okay. The documents involved... okay. Let me read. I gotta go back up here. In fact, several court documents were taken down from Illinois Public Records website, Judici. The documents involved a couple and another family member in which orders of protection were filed. Rebecca Bliefnick, or a local domestic violence agency working on her behalf, filed the first restraining order against Tim Bliefnick. She later had also filed one against her father-in-law. Sometime later, Tim Bliefnick filed one against her, his estranged wife. So that was just him paying her back, you know. Damn. Jesus. KHQA News reached out to the Adams County Circuit Clerk, who told us the case files regarding the Bliefnick's restraining order and divorce proceedings were removed. Wow. The records were sealed on the court's own motion, according to Casey Schnack. According to a recent LinkedIn profile, which has either been scrubbed from the web or made private, Tim Bliefnick had been working at Quincy Farm Products in business development. So, yeah, well, I guess she'd filed one against his dad, you know. Who knows? Maybe. Well, they said that they've arrested the only person they think might be a suspect. I don't know if the father-in-law was there. I don't know what he looks like. That would be Tim, what's his name? Hold on a second. God. Yeah, Tim Bliefnick's dad.
Competed on Family Feud. Listen to his
Yeah, they just look like friends and whatnot.
About wedding day Harvey's question about wedding day mistakes. What's the biggest mistake you made?
Yeah, I'll just do it a different night. Alright, I'm not going to be able to give out a prize, but I'll keep everybody's name on for tomorrow. So thank you to Teresa Murray, Danielle, Jiggy England, Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history, and a cat eye, thank you. Taco Queen, Tawny Lee, Simple Life Days, Adniram, Alley Cake, Tosh, Quietly Frozen again, Jennifer Ladybugs, Tosh with a cat eye as well, Eugenie, what do we got here? WNC Granny, Scoutin' Dude, Robin, Danielle, Hamilton Blue Stars, Robertson. I think I lost where I was. Hold on a second. Simple Life Days, Adniram, Alley Cake, Tosh, Quietly Frozen, Jennifer Ladybugs, Tosh, Eugenie, Jeff, K-Me, Norm Scanlon, Cindy J, Eugenie, Hamilton Blue Stars Robertson, Taco Queen, Teresa Murray, Jennifer Epic, Robin, Danielle, Scoutin' Dude, WNC Granny, Jim Lawn, Tawny Lee, Simple Life Days, Plato, Walker Homestead, and Tosh. So Tosh and yeah. But let's see, what do we got? I got that, and then there was one. Nobody ordered a notebook or anything. Just a rough night all around. So thank you to Lillian for the PayPal over there. Thank you guys. And that's it. So you got some interesting updates tonight. 4 different cases. Sorry it wasn't longer, but that's where the... I thought it was going to be longer, but it wasn't. But thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys next time. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.